And now your starting lineup for your San Antonio Spurs. The one forward, 6'9", from DePaul, number 34, Terry Cummings. 6'10" forward from Penn State, number 43, Frank Brickowski. 6'1" guard from West Texas State, number 10, Maurice Cheeks. The other guard, 6'8", from Georgia, number 40, Willie Anderson. 7'1" center from the Naval Academy, number 50, David Robinson. Head coach for the Spurs, Larry Brown, assisted by R.C. Buford to Greg Popovich. Trainer is John Anderson.
Well, that would equate to what the Spurs experienced at Denver a few weeks ago. Every team has one of those at least every year. Cummings misfires. Grant to Jordan. Through a scoreless minute, and stolen by Anderson in front of Grant. He takes away the Jordan feed. Willie all the way, off Paxson to Cheeks, and they'll reset. Willie in the corner. Robinson handles it for the first time. They surrounded him, so it's Cheeks open and good. And he was up for the battle in Chicago as well. He had a different look on his eyes that night than I think I've seen him ever have. Jordan around and out, Robinson with a rebound. 6-2 Spurs, and they come down looking for more. Brickowski against Grant. Cummings against Pippen. Terry can overpower Scottie Pippen, but he can't bank that one home. Rebound right to David. Stays after it. That's out of bounds off Cartwright. Got off to a great start and has taken it from there this year.
Amazing how he can score in spurts. In that first meeting between the Spurs and the Bulls back in late December, he had 34 points, but as I recall, he only had 6 at halftime.
Did most of his damage in the second half. You're right. 6-4 San Antonio. 8:35 to go. Brick free and reverses it in. Got a nice touch after the feed down low by Robinson. Pippen working on Anderson here. And they have Wingate in off the bench. He draws the Jordan assignment. Grant free. Pippen underneath for the turnaround by Cartwright. And Willie taking it away from Grant, who actually had pretty good rebounding position. Underneath, they double Robinson to no avail. First bucket for David. Clemson's first and only ACC Player of the Year back in 86-87. Pushed the Bulls back in front.
And Horace Grant was tough on the Spurs back on December 29th when he hit 7 of 9 from the field and wound up with a total of 18 points.
Robinson to the cutter. Cheeks backhands it in. That's what you're talking about.
We've seen it repeatedly. Now we'll see what kind of defensive adjustments, if any, the Bulls will make. But every time the Spurs send a cutter to the bucket or they send a roller along the baseline, the man is open at least initially.
Under 4.5 minutes in the quarter, 17-16. San Antonio, room for Grant, but David makes him miss and captures the rebound. Vintage Robinson, even though he didn't get a rejection. And the Bulls, a better ball handling team with only 2 so far. Jordan spinning away from the double team by Robinson. And he's got 8. Well, there's his first for the highlight reel.
Probably as creative off the dribble as anybody's ever been.
Wingate and David to answer. A little bit more decisive on the feed by David Wingate that time.
Excellent penetration, drawing the Chicago defense and then kicking it off to David for the jam.
19-18 Spurs. Grant the screen for Paxson. They double John Paxson. Underneath, Jordan with the jam. A much quicker start tonight than he had in Chicago a little more than a month ago.
Infinitely quicker. Now, what the Spurs want to do defensively on Michael Jordan is keep him from getting a lot of flying dunks and getting his teammates fired up. The point being that he's going to get his points, but make him earn those points from the outside. Don't give him the jam.
Robinson and counted with the foul. A helpless Bill Cartwright watching David blow right around him.
First of all, let's take a look at Michael Jordan's jam at the one end. And now David Robinson, for the fourth time tonight, just rolling away from Bill Cartwright. David this time puts home the jam and has the opportunity for a three-point play. And David's talked a lot about being the kind of guy that likes to answer a challenge. Let's don't forget that he had a very subpar game against the Bulls and Bill Cartwright back in late December, and he wants to atone for that.
31-22. Spurs should get it back one more time. 32 seconds in the first quarter. King to screen, but they double Pippen, so it's Paxson open for the corner. And Robinson back in for a rebound as the Spurs now can look for the last shot of quarter number one. Nice finish. They led early. Bulls came back, had a couple of two-point leads, and then the Spurs with a 12-2 run in progress here. Maxwell out of his hands, luckily right there, Wingate, and an air ball. Robinson got it in time. Bulls last scored with 1:45 to play in the first period. Maxwell wraparound reverse and rattles it down. He took a page out of Michael's playbook.
And a very wise decision by Caldwell Jones at the last instant to leave that ball alone and let it go. Otherwise, it might have been offensive interference.
17-2 is the run. Robinson blocking King, and it rolls to Cummings. Bulls scored a quick 20, and then they have really been hard to come by since then. On pace for about 80, 85 points at this rate. Cartwright free on the baseline, and Brakowski another rebound.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. The Spurs are the team that have played back-to-back games, played last night, and yet in the early going, the Spurs much the quicker, fresher team.
Well, on the charter, they were talking about it. They knew this crowd was going to rock it tonight. So the adrenaline factor overcoming the fatigue factor, which is minimalized because they got home and got a full night's rest, and it's helped Robinson. A 12.9 rebound first half already. And they cut the 16-point lead down to 11 as we go under 5 minutes in the first half.
John Paxson, a guy who's earned his NBA keep by being consistent, just doesn't make mistakes. Matter of fact, in that first meeting, he played 32 minutes and did not turn the ball over once.
Robinson powerful enough to beat the double team and the foul with King on his back, and another three-point opportunity. Pure strength on this one.
Well, Dave, in the last minute, we've seen the finesse move and then the power move. Maybe next time, just to make it sporting, he'll try to do it blindfolded. And Robinson with yet another three-point chance. And he's got it rolling tonight, trying to make a statement to the Bulls and particularly Bill Cartwright, who really gave David a tough time in late December at Chicago Stadium.
And as close as Chicago's been in quite some time, they trailed by as many as 16 here in the second quarter. A respectable road team. They're 10-14 away from Chicago Stadium. Tough fall away, everything going for David tonight. And a 7-point margin. So the Chicago run late in the first half continues on their first possession of the second half. Brakowski pretty effective at his fifth straight start in the first half. The matchup with Grant, who led the Bull rebounders with a total of 7. Robinson turns again on Cartwright. 23 points. I'm afraid he's going to wake up, look down his bench, and see the same cast of characters he had last year. No offense to them, they're very nice guys. They just they would not be 30-13 at this point in the year. Jabor, 26 for Jordan. Still the only Bull in double figures, but he's keeping him within shouting range.
Jordan, a couple of weeks ago, became the Bulls' all-time leading scorer, surpassing the old record set by Bob Butterbean Love.
Didn't take him long, but 5.5 years. Brakowski sliding away from Grant, a blind reverse for his 9th point.
Well, as we see, David Robinson now number 4 in the NBA shot blocking race. But yeah, you're absolutely right. David has the ability that a lot of athletes lack, that when he's ticked off for whatever reason, he can channel that reaction into performance instead of just getting mad. And I think it's interesting how we have a tendency to label people. A lot of people thought that because he was from the Naval Academy and a very intelligent guy, that he somehow lacked competitiveness on a street level. Not at all. Ask J.R. Reed about that.
Missed by Jordan. Robinson with another rebound. His 14th of the game. Cummings lines in another one. We go down to the 3-minute mark of the quarter. The Spurs have built almost all of that 16-point lead back. Jordan the give and go. Grant on the second try.
Well, that's what's so tragic about it, because Vernon was 7 of 10 from the floor and really played well defensively. You thought he was getting his pace and his aggressiveness back, but that was not a smart play.
Jordan with that incredible hang time. Mercy, how does he stay up so long? 33. Monday night they won at the Forum for the first time since January of '84, and they're trying to put an end to another one here tonight. Jordan inside the three-point arc, rebounded by Robinson. There's a new season high of 19 boards by the Admiral. Make it 20. They updated. 20 rebounds. A 30-20 game on the heels of his triple-double last night. And Robinson tonight 12 of 14 at the line. 33 points. Along with those other very impressive numbers. 1 of 2, got his own rebound, then they lose it and knocked out of bounds after it winds up in the hands of Grant. 3.5 seconds to go in a 4-point game. That free throw he made really looming large here. Paxson. Jordan, turn around for 3, got it at the buzzer, counted, and the Spurs take a 1-point victory, number 500
Dave,
in the stellar career of Larry Brown.